Yo, what's up guys, and welcome back to another lap time challenge on Gran Turismo 7. Shortly ahead of the famous 24 hours race in Le Mans, today's track is Le Mans. We are in Group 1 machinery on racing soft tires, and it seems that the go-to or the meta car is currently the Toyota Gr.1 hybrid. So the current world record on this one is a 306.2, and yes, Iceman indeed improved the world record whilst I was recording this video, so that's why the record is now a 305.9. And that leaves us to beat at least a 311.8. So let's get right into the guide. And as you know, one lap in Le Mans is quite long, so I implemented the chase cam on the top left of this lap. And starting into this one, make sure you don't spin out of the last chicane, then position the car to the left and go for a late apex on the curb on the right hand side before the first brake marker is this total sign on the right. Go hard into the brakes and down to second gear, then turn in, try to cut a lot of the curb on the left hand side, then aim for the right hand side curb, cut a lot of that again, keep it in second, gently back to the power before going flat out. Then keep it close to the curb on the left before going blindly over to the right, and then don't hit this post on the right hand side, and shortly after the last one, this is your brake marker. Hit the brakes shortly and go down to fourth gear, then let the car roll into this left hander over the curb on the left before going flat out again over to the right, not hitting the posts on the right but keeping it narrow as possible. Then over to the left hand side of the track, and the next brake marker is this small shadow here on the left hand side. Slight tap to the brakes, turning in over the curb and immediately flat out again using all the width of the track to take the momentum on the back straight. As this layout has no chicanes, this is just a very long straight, so let's speed this one up. And now this would be a good time to give a like to the video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet. The only thing I did on the back straight was keeping the hands tight to the steering wheel to avoid wobbling due to underlances in the road. Then at the end of the straight, position your car to the left hand side of the track, and then the marshals on the right is your brake marker. Once you cross the fence and see the marshals, brake hard in a straight line, go down to the very first gear over to the left before turning into the right hander, go over the curb without hitting the posts, early upshift to second again, and when opening up the steering to a straight, fully flat out again to avoid power oversteer. And now let's speed up again shortly for this sector before placing the car on the left hand side of the track again. And then don't turn in too early. If you cut the curb on the right too much, you invalidate your lap. So at the end of this curb, you brake hard in a straight line again and go down to the second gear, and then you aim for the inside curb on the left hand side to hit the apex. And gently back to the power and open up the steering before going flat out, and the next brake marker is the second gun sign on the right hand side. Shortly ahead of that, brake hard in a straight line again and go down to first gear, turn in over the curb on the right hand side, upshift to second gear early, and then flat out again in second. And for those slow corners, it's really easy to have power oversteer, so be careful. Now we're heading to the handling section of the track, up to 7th gear, keep it to the left hand side of the track, and then your next brake marker is shortly ahead of the Goodyear sign on the left hand side here. Short brake action and down to 5th gear, then let the car roll into this right hander, keeping it close to the curb, and then flat out again, keeping it through this left hander up to 6th gear, and shortly ahead of this left hander, downshift to 5th, no brake action required. Short power input before giving the brakes a slight tap and letting the car roll into this right hander with some gentle power inputs to go to the right hand side of the track, and just after this RMC sign on the right hand side, give it a short brake input, and for me it helped to go down to 4th gear, then flat out again, use all the width of the track and accelerate to those last chicanes before the finish. Now go over to the right hand side of the track, and just in the middle of the pit entry is your brake marker. So in the middle of this one, hard into the brakes and down to 3rd gear, then cutting the curb on the left hand side and on the right, try to get the car to the right hand side of the track, short power input before braking again, totally over the curb on the left hand side, let the car roll over this right hand curb, then straighten up the car before going flat out to not have power oversteer and lose your lap. And since I lost a lot of laps to power oversteer, I was actually quite happy, as you can now see on my webcam. And that's already it for this week's lap time challenge in Le Mans. And to be honest, I expected this one to be a bit more easy. Actually, after we've had in the last 12 months 2 of those challenges, one time in the BMW McLaren F1, and the other one was, at least for me, in the Mazda 787B, but different tire specifications here. I had a low 311 quite fast, but I didn't feel confident to keep the gold with this one, and so I went and pushed a little bit more, and now with a low 310 time I'm quite happy, and being roughly top 400 in the world, at least after day 1, is quite fine for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and if you were able to do this one quite easily or is it difficult for you as well. And as usual, if this guide helped you out, I'd be happy if you leave a like, share, like and subscribe. Twice like is non-like. Anyway, I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching and bye bye.